Hello everyone, this is Mr. Muhammad Al-Mahdi, and in this video I will explain from Song of Myself and other poems by Walt Whitman. So, before I start, in this video I will explain the most important points and the general idea of the poems. I will not explain line by line analysis, so it's not going to be analysis of each part of the poem, only the general ideas. So, to start here, Walt Whitman says, I celebrate myself and sing myself, and what I assume, you shall assume, for every atom belonging to me as good belongs to you. So here, Walt Whitman starts his poem by saying that we are connected. Every atom belonging to me as good belongs to you. Afterward, he starts to say, I loaf and invite my soul, I lean, I loaf at my ease, observing a spear of summer grass. He tells you that he's an American and his parents are American, and so his grandparents, and so on. So here, in line 10, here, he says, creeds and schools in abeyance. This is a very important part because he says he wants to let go of traditional teaching. So he says that creeds, and creeds here means religion, and schools, like traditional teaching in general, are in abeyance. So it means they are temporarily stopped, like or suspended. So for him, he says, let's put traditional teaching on the side just for a while and let's see what nature has to say. So he says that I harbor for good or bad. You know, Walt Whitman likes to experience everything. He doesn't care whether the experience is going to be good or bad. He loves nature and he wants to learn from nature. So he wants to put traditional teaching aside just for a while, retiring back for a while, but never forgotten. We're not going to forget religion. We're not going to forget traditional teaching. So for him, nature is a teacher. Okay, so let's move on to the following part here. Here, he tells you an experience that happened to him when a child comes to him and asks him, what is the grass? And he starts to think until he reached to the conclusion that grass could be the handkerchief of the Lord. So, in these lines, he tells you that grass will make us remember God. How is that possible? How could grass be a remembrancer? Simply, when you walk like around and you see grass, you will ask yourself, where did this grass come from? Who created this grass? And the answer is simply going to be God. The rest of these lines, he tells you that life and death are a cycle and death does not exist. Death only pushes life forward. So, for example, in his weird opinion, when we die, we become soil, and this soil would be like grass, or grass would come out of this soil. So, for him, we will not die, we will always be alive, but in other forms, maybe as humans or maybe as grass. So, let's move on. Here, section number 9, he tells us an experience of him in the country barn and how he is stretched atop of the load and how he's observing like the hay. I want you to search this word, hay, and how he like enjoys being in nature and how he enjoys experiencing different things. Here in section 14, he also tells us about one of his experiences that a wild gander like he invites him and he says yahunk. Of course this is onomatopoeia, but here he says that everything has a meaning, even the quack of a duck. It is not meaningless, it has a meaning. So he wants to like observe nature and he enjoys nature, and he says that everything is connected in some way. The rest of the section he like tells us about the other animals and how when he presses his foot to the earth he has 100 affections. He feels 100 feeling, but he cannot express himself. He cannot express himself in words. He says that words are not enough to express how I feel when I am in nature. So here he also tells us that he enjoys being with people. He enjoys being with the builders, the steerers. He enjoys being around the laborers. That he's the commonest, cheapest, nearest, easiest person. So here in like the 14th one or section 14, he just tells us that how he likes nature and how he likes being around other people. In section 17, this section is important. He says, these are really the thoughts of all men in all ages and lands. They are not original with me. So he says that all of these ideas in these poems, they are not his ideas. They are your ideas as well. They are like our grandparents' ideas, that again, we are connected, and all these ideas are universally shared. So, again, we are connected. For Walt Whitman, we are connected even in our thoughts. Then he says that if they are not yours as much as mine, they are nothing or next to nothing. So this means that our ideas are shared and it's universally shared. If they are not the riddle, if my poems are not going to give you the question and the answer of the question, they are nothing. If my lines or if my poetry is not going to be so close that you feel that they are just written specifically for you, and at the same time they are distant, so that they are about every human being, they are nothing. And if you see here, you're going to find the riddle, untangle the riddle, close and at the same time they are distant, because after a few lines, we're going to find him saying, do I contradict myself? So for him, his ideas are the grass, and grass is everywhere. So these ideas, or his poetry, or and his lines, they are everywhere, and they are shared by every human being. He is just expressing them. Okay, the last two sections, to be brief, here he says that he has had many experiences in life and he enjoyed his life. Of course, this is section 51. He's very close to death. And he asks you to talk to him, listener up there, like you are reading from a book. So he's looking up to you and just saying, listener up there, what have you to confide to me? He wants you to talk with him. Talk honestly. No one hears you, and I stay only a minute longer. Of course, we only have this minute, the last minute, and it's going to be over. So, here, the most important part is only this one. Do I contradict myself? Very well, then I contradict myself. I am large, I contain multitudes. So, he's saying that he contradicts himself. And it's normal to contradict yourself. Sometimes you have an opinion in life, then you change it. Sometimes you feel that something is good, then you discover no, it's not good. This idea is bad. So you said that this idea is good, then you say that this idea is bad. Do you contradict yourself? Actually, for him, contradiction is growing up. You are growing up. He is large. He has many ideas, many feelings. So it's very normal to contradict yourself throughout your life. This is how you grow. Eventually, with the last part here, he says, I am not obtained, I too am untranslatable. And eventually he says that, like, I bequeath myself to the dirt to grow from the grass I love. The idea that I stated, or that he stated at the beginning of this poem, that if you want me again, look for me under your boot soles, that people would die to become soil, and from this soil we will have grass. So there is no death. Even when he dies, you're going to find him. Maybe you're going to find him in your blood. Maybe you're going to find him as grass. Maybe you're going to find him in any form because, again, he says that we are connected. And when he dies, he's going to be like in every atom of this universe. Again, I'm just saying that this is weird, again, like, but he just means physically. So he says that I stop somewhere waiting for you. Now you may wish to take a break, just you can stop the video. However, the following parts are going to be very brief. Here we have I Hear America Singing. So, in this poem, he hears America singing. He hears laborers like mechanics. He hears the carpenter. He hears the mason, the boatman, the showmaker here, and the hatter, the person who makes hats, and the woodcutter, the plowboy, even the delicious singing of the mother. In this poem, he says that everyone is saying that Americans are diverse, yet they are only one. So, as I have already stated in my previous lessons, that Americans are people that came from all over the world. They are diverse, they are vital, they are different. Some of them are, maybe we can say some Americans are originally from Africa, and some other Americans are from Asia. We have many Americans from Europe, and so on. So the point here is America has many different people, but at the same times, they are all Americans. It's like a quilt. So, to move on the beach at night alone, he tells us an experience when he is just like sitting on the beach, and he has this idea that there's a vast similitude interlooks all, that everything is similar. Throughout the whole poem, we're going to have something we call catalog. So he says that all spheres, grown and grown, small, large, suns, moons, planets, all distances of place, all distances of time, all souls, everything is similar. There is similarity that interlocks or that combines everything in this world. Okay, I encourage you to read the poem, and you will find that here he just says that everything, these are examples of catalog. He's giving you a list, okay, that everything is just connected by similarity. Okay, eventually the last one is America. He said that America is center of equal daughters, equal sons, that America is a seated mother, and in America you will find freedom, law, love, and that America is shared in the advent of time, that America is going to be there forever. America is going to be there forever. That's the main idea of this poem. So, in this video, I've explained or I've went through the most important parts of these poems here, of Song of Myself, although it's a lengthy poem or a long poem, and I hear America singing and how the Americans are different, but at the same time, they are all similar because they are all Americans. On the beach at night alone, and how everything is similar in some way, and America and how America is going to be there forever with equality.